The things that I do for you guys, I just got done reading what might be the most embarrassingly cringy, worst executed comic in DC history. And I say that intentionally. I mean it. I don't think I've read anything quite this bad in quite some time. And I'm reading a lot of bad comic books right now. I'm reading a lot of DC. I'm reading a lot of Marvel. There's a lot of substandard comic books out there, but there's nothing quite like this. And if I have to experience this, I have to share it with you guys. The things that I do for you, the bullets that I take, I gotta share the pain of what goes out here. Normally, I would provide a little bit of a preview to show you what we're getting into, but I want to surprise. Well, we're not going to surprise you. I'll show you how I got down this rabbit hole. There is this article over on Screen Rant that said Harley Quinn continues inclusivity streak with introduction of Vixen's girlfriend. Obviously, you can see the character apparently has one leg, has got some braces, and Vixen, obviously is a female. So we're looking at a black, disabled, lesbian. Just shockingly enough, Harley Quinn Eat, Bang, Kill Tour is written by a black, disabled, lesbian, autistic, used to be a sex worker writer. The amount of self-insert characters at DC Comics and Marvel, it's overwhelmingly bad. It always ends up being cringy. This is what happens when you decide to hire people based on their diversity credentials, right? When you're no longer going, but are they a good writer? You go, well, they're minority, they're LGBTQ, disabled, used to be a sex worker. Like we're covering a lot of bases on things that we would like to promote with our brand to say that, hey, we're inclusive, just like Harley Quinn Eat, Bang, Kill Tour is inclusive. And what you get are really, really bad comic books with really bad self-insert characters. Go see Somnus from Marvel Comics from Steve Orlando if you want to see a terrible insert character. This is worse, and that was terrible. Let's get into this because I got to share this with you guys. This is it's almost too good to believe. Like, just the wonderful things that DC are bringing these days. This is the first page when we get introduced to Vixen's girlfriend. Now, obviously, she walks into the room. You can see immediately she's missing a leg. Somebody else in the DC Comics bullpen wears braces like that so they can walk. Happens to be the writer of this comic book, Keith Franklin. This might be a self-insert character. Listen to this dialogue, and there's a lot of it. Look at all that dialogue. I'm so sorry for interrupting, Vixen. Hold on a minute, Ivy. You don't have to leave on my account, although I'm really going to need you to give my girl the antidote. All these damn animals trying to get with her fine ass. That ass is mine. Man, I feel bad for her girlfriend if that's the way she talks to her. Don't start. I'll make you tap out again. Oh, apparently they're doing nasty stuff in the bedroom. Shocking. Besides, she gave me the antidote already, bae. Wait, did y'all kiss and I missed it? Obviously intimating that they like to do three ways. Anyways, you were saying Harley and I got in an argument. She went to the strip club where Mephitic kidnapped her. The video vixen. I'm sure Harley will be fine, Ivy. What's Mephitic's fascination with you? Did you piss in their cornflakes or something? I have no clue who this thing is. They called me out on TV and I had something to prove, so I came here. Well, that makes a whole lot of sense. You had something to prove, so you went to Vixen's house. Okay. That dialogue doesn't make sense. So you decided to stand up for yourself in Detroit instead of ignoring a newbie villain's call out, all because you're struggling with your ex-fiance leaving you at the altar. Now your girlfriend been kidnapped and you want my help. Does that sum everything up? Honey, I need you to help Ivy get her love back. The way I'd bash people in the head with my crutches if anything happened to you. I think that's supposed to sound heroic or like, I don't know, tough. Just pretty stupid. I can't imagine life without you, Mary. Just like Ivy can't imagine her life without Harley. Now let's go get you two dressed for some ass kicking. All right, let's go get dressed for some ass kicking. Holy crap, you have an elevator? Of course, accessibility matters. Well, I guess you got to have wheelchair access when your girlfriend's handicapped. She is so damn lucky that I'll do anything Elle asked me to do. Holy crap, the shoes. Thanks for fighting for me and Harley, Elle. You know us queers gotta stick together, boo. You can't make this stuff up, man. It's like these self-insert characters are a plague on comic books, and they're a plague on my eyes because I actually have to read this shit. Now let's get you into something Ivy chic. I don't think I have anything that'll fit you, but I'm sure we can figure it out. It's because your ass is getting bigger for me. Oh, shush. I'm beyond shocked that WarnerMedia would have ever greenlit this. Like, the Harley Quinn animated series, I think it's still going on. Like, it's pretty popular. And yeah, it's adult themed, but it's never this bad. It's never this cringy. You would think that they would want to protect the integrity of that series that people like. If people go into this from that series and they downgrade themselves into this kind of quality of writing, I mean, how many people are never going to come back? This shit is awful. Continuing. The dynamic of their relationship seems so loving, fun, and non-toxic. Non-toxic, okay. If people thought I talked to my wife like that, they would call the police. You know what I mean? Non-toxic. This is completely toxic. And after everything Harley and I have been through, we both need and deserve that I have to change my ways and open up more. That is not English, I don't believe. That is off. Bae, have you seen any of my super suits? Let's see, you mean the ones I told you to drop off at the cleaners last week? Shit, what do I wear now? I just got the thing. What's she gonna wear? Anything with that. Guess you should have dropped your suits off at the cleaner like I told you. Now get your fine ass in this outfit. Non-toxic, right? Can you imagine just like talking to your girlfriend or your wife or your husband or your boyfriend and be like, get your fine ass in the outfit? What passes for flirting in this person's head or this woman's head is just mind-boggling. Wow, okay, Miss Shady Ass. Oh my, wow. Can't wait to peel this off you later. And Ivy, damn girl, you look good. Ever been with a hero? But okay, that's enough. We have to go and save Ivory's girlfriend now, honey. Mary, thank you. DC Comics is one of the 2 prestigious comic book publishers in all of North America. Their brand is synonymous with so many legendary superheroes, comic book runs, comic book stories. They're responsible for so many adaptations that go out into video games, animation, movies, and whatnot. Now, they're not all successful, but DC Comics has a rich history of excellence. Some of the best comic books in the history of the world have been written under the DC Comics publisher. In fact, some people would say Watchmen is the greatest comic book in the history of the world, released by DC Comics. How the hell did they get here? What happened to DC Comics where they stopped taking storytelling seriously? What happened to DC Comics when they stopped taking their characters seriously? What happened to DC Comics when they stopped taking their universe seriously? What happened to DC Comics when they stopped taking the legacy and the importance of all these things and their history and what they've stood for 80 years and just throw it out the window so T. Franklin can go in here and write this weird lesbian fanfic with her self-insert character and her made-up relationship? Like, I just don't get it. I wish somebody could explain it to me, where DC Comics and Marvel no longer had standards when it came to storytelling. Do you miss the days when DC and Marvel meant something? When the name on the label meant that there was an implied amount of love and care put into that comic book, that even if it was a bad DC comic, it wasn't going to be fucking terrible. Even if it was a terrible Marvel comic, it wasn't going to be awful. But now they've somehow sunk below like fucking Humanoid and Black Mask and all these like super small press publishers. Image would never put anything this bad out. Fucking Valiant wouldn't put anything this bad out. But DC Comics firmly puts their logo on this comic book, and they know it's terrible. And they're associating it with a property, an ongoing show that's supposed to be important for one of their parent company, like WarnerMedia. HBO Max is supposed to be a big deal. Did they sign off on this too? What the fuck is going on here? What the fuck am I reading? What are you reading? Is this acceptable? This can't be acceptable to anybody. A comic like this is what happens when you stop caring about your customers, when you stop caring about your characters, and you only care about a headline or being able to say that we hired a disabled Black, lesbian, former sex worker as a writer. And you just never had to say, hey, can you write an actual comic book? Because they clearly can't. Or even if they could, how about we not let you do a self-insert character? All I got to ask is, how the fuck did we get here? These types of terrible hirings are happening all over DC Comics. It's not just relegated to these kind of smaller fringe type miniseries. Hell, if you go to Detective Comics, Cena Grace is going to have a Gotham Girl Interrupted story coming up. You won't believe this story. Cena Grace, the writer who destroyed Iceman, one of the lowest selling Marvel comics in history. That's who DC's hiring. I'm not joking.